Tremors 3 Back to Perfection. This movie is rated PG. I was really surprised to see that, having watched the last two movies at PG-13. I thought that they were, especially the first one, I thought it was a pretty hard PG-13. So seeing that this one was PG actually kind of turned me off for a minute. This is one I'm not super familiar with. I had seen it, but man, I barely remember anything besides the ass blasters. Yes, these freaking creatures fart and launch themselves up into the air and then can fly. So they were really just having fun writing this, going, screw it, we've done this, we've done that, what's the next stage? We're getting into that campy territory. It kind of was campy to begin with, but we're just going full camp. You got to up it a notch every sequel. So here we go. So as I said, Bert takes over the franchise from here. The Shriekers are named in this movie. As I had said in the last one, I think this is where they actually get their names. And Bert is now a full-blown expert. So you have this opening sequence where he's on like a freaking turret gun and he is just wrecking these things right and left, and he's got the Screechers figured out now. So in the first movie, he gets the Graboids figured out. So in the second movie, they have to evolve and become something else. And then in the second movie, he figures out how to kill the Shriekers. So then in the next one, they simply seem to evolve just because Bert is there to make them extinct and they have to adapt to the situation. And of course, he has all the toys he could want now. And this movie brings a lot of characters back from the first movie, and all of them are the original actors. I like to see Miguel back here, and little Mindy, and Melvin, and Mindy's mom. I wrote it down somewhere on here, whatever the hell her name is. But yeah, I was just like, oh my god, and thought that was really fun. Thought that was really cool. I like that local store has a tribute to Walter Chang up on the wall, just kind of reminding us that that's where he died and that was his store. So good consistency there. Perfection has now become a tourist destination where this chick is trying to capitalize on the graboid phenomena, but doesn't seem to be going all that well, because who the hell would really want to come to a place where they may be killed by the local legend monster thing that we do know are true. I like that we have the Dark Horse Comics versions of these things. They have the Graboid comic, they have the Shrieker comic, and then they have the Graboid versus Shrieker comic. Dark Horse, which is the company. I've gotten sent a lot of these damn things lately. If a company is gonna make a horror thing, it's gonna be Dark Horse. So I thought that was pretty funny, especially since I've gotten a lot of Dark Horse comics lately. And they actually have the story of what's going on in there. We find out that Grady and Earl actually did open up that amusement park as Grady had suggested at the end of 2. Good continuity. Awesome stuff. You got this guy in this who's making this fake Jeep tour. He's having his buddy out there pretend that he's a graboid to get people. It's essentially like the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland, which is a ride I absolutely love. And I will be very curious to see what they do with that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie that they're doing there for the Jungle Cruise ride. I don't think anything's ever going to touch the just pure shock of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise of just like, what? This is a freaking movie made off an amusement park ride, and it's amazing. They tried to capitalize on it right after with the Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy. Terrible, but man, Pirates of the Caribbean was just, what a shocker that movie was when it came out. We were all like, whoa, what the hell? Crazy stuff. Anyway, moving on. And then I love how this dude is such a piece of shit that he fakes them out and makes them think they're probably going to die, that these things are going to eat them, although he is giving them what they want. But he strands them out on a rock in the desert and then charges them for water. I was like, wow, dude, that is some cold ass shit, and not just because you put ice in the cooler. Oh man, rough. All right. And then, so, little Mindy in this movie, she brings back somebody's pants who she's duct taped, and they give her shit for this, and she's like, "Ah, this is a fashion statement. You just wouldn't get it." Duct tape over clothes? I've never seen that one. I've seen a lot of fads over my life, but and I lived in the 90s. I lived in the in the early 2000s. I think this movie is like 2001 or something. Duct tape on your clothes? I mean, I've used duct tape like on my shoes, like when my Converse were falling apart, you would put them there on your like, over the front of your shoes or something like that, or to keep the soles from falling off or whatnot. But on your pants, is that something I missed? She has them like wrapped around her knees. Feels like it would cut off her circulation. So yeah, I don't know if that was just something the movie was trying to do, or if I just missed a fad I'm unaware of. And I love that the tourist takes a picture of the dude, the dude that was faking the graboids were out there. I love that this dude takes a picture of the guy being eaten. That is such a touristy thing to do, and it also kind of harkens back to something I was just talking about how people will like film people being beat up and not actually like try to stop. They'll just sit there and they'll like take video of it, and it's like, what are you doing? So I don't know if this is as far-fetched as maybe we would hope it would be. Nancy, there it is. Nancy returns. And then these suits show up in town, and they, of course, are protecting the endangered species that are the graboids and the shriekers. And I love how Bert and Miguel and the other guy all think that they're there for them for different reasons. Like Bert thinks they're there because of because he's paranoid as a motherfucker. He always thinks the government's after him. Miguel thinks they're there for, I want to say, this might sound racist, but I swear I think it's for like immigration or something. And then the other dude's like, I have a permit for my stuff. Like, I love that all three of them all have different reasons why they think that those guys are there, and none of them are accurate. So then they tell them, like, it's time to play Pokemon with graboids. You got to catch them all. Actually, you just got to catch one. You can catch us one, then we're good and we'll leave you alone. But you got to go out there and catch them. And it's like, how the hell do you catch these things? We got Melvin here. He's the scumbag of the movie. He's trying to buy up land. And he says to him, like, I wouldn't want anyone to live here. I wouldn't want to wish this on anyone. And it's like, you're trying to buy up the land to build homes here. So, yeah, Melvin's character, he was a little shit in the movie and he grew up to be a little shit. That's very realistic. I love that Bert's pulled underneath the ground by a graboid inside a barrel, and then this dude chases him in the car and smashes him into Bert's wall at his house, and then digs him up and cuts him out with a chainsaw. I'm not sure how he got him out of the barrel. I guess he just pushed through out the front and then out. I don't know. It didn't really make sense because he hits metal when he's chainsawing down into it. You can see sparks come off of it. So how did Earl get out of the barrel when he would have had to go straight up through it? It would have been this way. So, I don't know. Doesn't matter. And of course, much like in the very first movie here, when you had Rhonda and Valentine sleeping next to each other on the rock, they wake up and they're like cuddled up on each other, and it's like, uh-oh. We do the same thing with the two characters in this movie. So a little borrowing there. I guess you could consider it an homage. I just felt like it was lazy writing that was kind of copying from the first one. Then we were introduced to the ass blasters, which just kind of make you laugh out loud as soon as you see it, and you go, oh, okay, they're not even, trying to keep this even slightly serious anymore. Not like they all that much were, but at this point you're just like, okay, we're getting full camp now. We get Miguel killed in this, which was kind of sad. And then freaking Bert has to blow up his doomsday shelter and finds out it's all, ironically, for nothing, because food puts these things into like little food comas, and that place was filled with tons and tons of food, and this thing would have just ate some of it and fallen over and went to sleep, and he would have been fine. He wouldn't have had to blow up his whole damn property. So he's pissed off. Not sure how they find them there. They couldn't see their heat signatures, so I'm not even sure how they get to Bert's house, but whatever. I guess because the heat signatures through the hell, like, I don't know. I got nothing on that. I'm not sure how he burns his ass through the door. He's got like a lightsaber sticking out of his ass because this thing was built to withstand a nuclear fallout. So this thing's little butt burner doesn't feel like, but this thing in the later half of the movie, or the very end of the movie, should I say, can't burn its way out of its cage that it's in, but it can burn through a freaking, bomb shelter door. Come on, don't be dumb. And then they go out there and they make themselves a potato gun and they start spear launching at these things like freaking Bard the Bowman, and they're sticking these things and they're erupting the flammable liquid that is in them that launches their asses into the air, quite literally. And then they find out that Bert's watch is what's been making the great white tremor chase them the whole time. And so the dude, I didn't write his name down, but the other guy, he takes like some sticky shit and he throws it on the last ass blaster, and just in the last moment, the thing comes up out of the ground and grabs it and chomps it. It's very, very reminiscent of the T-Rex raptor sequence in Jurassic Park, which the girl from Jurassic Park does have a role in this movie, so it is fitting. And then at the end, we find out that the the ass blaster that is caught is being sold to Siegfried and Roy. But I thought that the government agency wants it. So did I miss something there? I don't know. But then Bert does use the whole fact that he's going to leave that great white graboid around because it's there. It's on the endangered species list. No one can build there. No one can take it over. So Melvin, and then he leaves Melvin out there to die. He just straight up leaves Melvin out there to die and laughs and drives away. It's a pretty dark ending. Like, you can see it as a cute little ending, like, oh, you bastard, why'd you leave me out here? And it's like, Melvin died, okay? That's that scenario. There's a good chance that he murdered that kid who he's known since he was a child. So, pretty dark ending. Anyway, guys, it's really, really late. So there you go, Helgrimir. That's half of the series. Not including the TV series, but half of the movies. I got them all done in one sitting. Good night.